I get to talk about something fun today. Woo! And some videos are coming out about it. And that is the Castlevania anime on Netflix. I didn't know who was involved originally. Don't care. Apparently he is supposed to be controversial people because he's a prick. Hi, I'm Coolip, Justin, other sorted names that aren't nice to say in polite company. And I get to be very, very positive. Castlevania, the anime, heavy metal influenced anime, blood, guts, rated R, goodness, oh, makes me shiver with delight. So, I watched it after it came out, and this probably a day or so later after it came out, because whenever something gets adapted from a video game, I'm always nervous about it. Always. Regardless of what it is, anytime something is adapted from a book to a movie, book to a video game, book to an anime, book to a manga, manga to anime, manga to movie, blah, 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 and every other permutation that's possible there. I get nervous because normally it's not good. Take a look at the Percy Jackson movie. Take a look at the Aragon movie. Hell, we could go over dozens and dozens and dozens of fucking movies that came out after a book did, and you see the huge glaring flaws in it, and you sit there and go, well, whatever. It's a book to a movie. Especially video games. But that's a lot of Uwe Boll's fault, and that's a different conversation. So, when we have this discussion, when things like Castlevania is converted to a actual feature, I'm going to call this a feature length, because it's, I think, 20-25 minutes an episode, well drawn. I didn't see any flaws in the animation. Hell, I see flaws in Dragon Ball Super, but I didn't see any big glaring flaws in in Castlevania. So, it's Trevor Belmont. It's Selfie or Silpha. I'm horrible with these names. The only person we're missing is the guy that crawls on the walls. Oh yeah, spoilers. It'll be in the title as always. And then you have Alucard. Now Alucard, just like in Symphony of the Night, and kind of in Castlevania 3, is a badass. So, badass motherfucker. Kicking ass, taking names, unless he's fighting Dracula. In which case, he gets his ass handed to him. Now, the story is kind of blending in Symphony of the Night and Castlevania 3. So, you have Lisa, the mother of Alucard, learning from Dracula science. And, as Dracula learns to reconnect with humanity, he starts to travel like a man and walk around like a man. They find out that she's doing science and think it's witchcraft. They burn her at the stake. And Dracula, and it is Vlad Trebes, or however you pronounce the name properly, comes out of nowhere and says, alright, I'm reasonably pissed off right now. I'm going to summon the undead armies to swarm the earth. And I enjoyed the living hell out of it because it was glorious. He's like, you have a year. I'm giving you a year to make peace with your God. 1 year. And it's like a year in days. Like a year and a couple of days. He comes back and says, well, here I am. I'm back. Meanwhile, you have this horrible, and you see it coming, but it's fucking brilliant. People are like, oh, he must have calmed down. He is no longer angry. Nope. He's just as pissed as he... starts to demolish everything. The legion of his undead army, undead horde, just destroy this city. And after all this, you go right back to the story, and you pick up with Trevor being a drunk, which is absolutely brilliant. The way that they crafted the story is essentially the Belmonts are ostracized because the church ostracized them. They said that they were corrupt and they were demon worshippers and probably other shit like that. You don't know the specifics, but you know that they were excommunicated from the church. And so, what ends up happening is basically Trevor's a drunk. He's a fighter, but he's a drunk fighter. After all that, we get back to what's actually going on in the story, and there's Sylphie or Selphie or whatever her name was, is a part of a clan called the Seekers, and they're very benevolent people in general. They refuse to leave someone in need, but they honor their agreements, shit like that. And the brilliance, besides the animation, I'm talking story here. You feel like they're trying to expand upon, I think, maybe 24 to 30 text boxes in Castlevania 3. And I know someone, if this video ever gets big and whatnot, is going to probably correct me on the exact number. And you're trying to expand upon that and go through and say, well, we're going to expand everything that happened outside of the city in Loquania or something. Can't pronounce the name. But the story, it's only 4 episodes. Only 4. So you can binge watch that in a couple of hours. But the brilliance of this comes in, and I was watching and I'm like, pause. Just watching it. Like I said, and I know I probably said it on a couple other videos, I'm not good at just watching one thing. Normally I'm playing a video game and watching something on Netflix or Plex or whatever streaming service I'm watching it from. But this, full fucking attention, even at just the drama points. And the action is good. You feel like the person who's making it, I don't know if the person who makes it has a love for Castlevania, but it sure as hell comes off that way. And I'm talking lovely. You have things like the boomerang axe, which I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. How did he do that? And you see the daggers on him, and he has his sword, and he has the vampire killer whip. And it's only 4 episodes, and it's the reason I'm not doing an individual episode thing, although that might happen in the next season as I develop more my talking at a camera, acting like someone's on the other side of this having a conversation with me. But I recommend everyone to watch it. The best part, there's two things that I really loved, and like I said, these are spoilers. So spoiler, 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 spoiler. When the priest who burns Lisa gets his comeuppance, and we're assuming he got his comeuppance, it shows blood on the ground, but feels like that. The demons enter this church, and he's like, how dare you, how can you enter the house of God? And the demon's like, your God isn't here. This is but empty mortar and pestle or some shit like that. And you see this look on the priest's face like, what? And it's because he basically resigned his fate to be the archbishop by more or less assassinating everyone along his path. He recruited people who were not of the cloth, which were basically thieves, and said that they were ministers and fathers and shit like that. So he basically abandoned the faith of God in order to progress his own power. Yeah, God's not in that house. And then the demon's like, I just want to kiss. And he gets up in his face and he chews on him. Which is really weird because this series, up to this point, the series has not shied away from showing you the actual kill. Which is why I'm suspicious about it. But you see all this blood on the ground and it's like, okay. Alright, that works. Good job. You're setting something up for season 2. We know it. And then there's both the prelude and the fight with Alucard. Now, when I said that they make a lot of references to the game, they show Trevor and a magic chick, because I can't pronounce her name, going through the clock tower. And if you don't know what the clock tower is in a Castlevania game, it's basically a clockwork zone where you're normally climbing up and down and you have swinging pendulums that you have to jump onto to get from one place to another. Unless you're a speedrunner, and in that case you can only damage boost your way up there, but that's a different subject and that's another time. And then the actual fight with Alucard, oh, fucking brilliant. Now, that could have been really badass and like with 2 real actors, but because it was animated, you don't have to worry about throwing in the cheesy CGI afterwards. You just have this awesome fight. And it's awesome. It really is. When he's using the vampire killer, Trevor has the advantage. Then he loses the vampire killer, and he's being pressed back by Alucard. Fucking brilliant. Wonderful. Wonderful storytelling. And then he looks over at the Seeker. Like I said, I can't say her name. It's like Silpha or something like that. And says, well, do you know how old that myth is about the sleeping soldier? And what's the rest of that prophecy? And she says the rest of the prophecy. It's like a Seeker and a Seeker and a Belmont will join the sleeping soldier. I'm sure they'll expand upon what the Seekers are more than just mystics who apparently get prophecies from the future. But it's very good. And I enjoyed it. So good. Cannot recommend it enough. 5 stars. It is a must watch. And yeah, I'm not a big channel, but my recommendation for this is very, very strong. I encourage everyone to see it. I'm going to sign out. Apparently my phone's blowing up, and I got to see what's going on with that. Y'all have a good day.